Hey guys, we're going to be talking about exposure here, camera exposure, and how to use it to your advantage and have your pictures turn out really well when using a camera. This first picture here is taken of my wife and my son in a swimming pool. And with automatic exposure controls, it's trying to expose for the best that it can figure out. Now, it doesn't know what it's taking a picture of. It doesn't know that I'm mainly focused on the people. It just knows there's a whole lot of light coming in, and so it tries to expose for the water. And therefore, not knowing any better, it makes the important parts of the picture, their faces, go a little too dark. And so this is what the picture ends up being if I just shot with automatic exposure. Now, there's one way you can control your exposure, and that's by using something known as exposure compensation. That looks something like this. On a camera, somewhere you're going to find it where you have a minus number, like a -2, and then a -1, and then a 0, which is normal, and then a +1 and a +2. It may look a little different on your camera. It might look something like this, or it might look something a little bit like this. And it kind of doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you find it. Sometimes it's buried in a menu somewhere, but you're going to want to adjust that center bar so that you can make it actually brighter than it normally would be. So you would need to adjust it to maybe a higher number, like a +1/2 or a +1. Here's the camera dial of my camera, and I'm fortunate enough to have something that's external and it's a knob, and I don't have to go into a menu, and I just dialed it up to +1. And this is what the picture looks like, same situation, when I dial it up to +1. You'll notice that it exposed now for the faces, which is all well and good, but the water is absolutely too bright. But I mean, that's just how cameras work. It isn't capable of getting the dynamic range to get everything. But this is a shot where I really do want to see their faces and their expressions, and so maybe this is an acceptable shot. One more recommendation that I'd make is, instead of using exposure compensation in this case, which could work out if you don't really care about the background and you really care about the faces, you can use exposure compensation. But another thing you can do is use the flash, and that means you have to force the flash on, because under these normal circumstances, the flash is not going to fire because it was a nice bright day. It's not like it's nighttime, so it thinks that it's got enough light, and so it doesn't fire the flash automatically. But if you can find the controls within your camera, and all cameras do have it, where you force the flash, regardless of how bright it is, you force the flash, you can light up the dark spots and still keep some of the background detail, like for instance the water. And this next picture is the picture that I took with a pop flasher, with just a little bit of flash to fill in the face light, but also keep the background. And so this is the picture there. And I really like this picture because you can see that they're actually in a pool. It doesn't look like they're in snow, right? Like blinding snow, but they're actually in a pool, and there's a little bit of detail in the water, and yet you get their expressions, you get the color in the face. So just depending on your situation, you might want to use exposure compensation, or in other cases, you might want to just remember what it takes to turn on your flash on purpose, intentionally, even though it's a nice bright day. All right, hopefully that was helpful for you on how to lighten up some of those sometimes dark areas of your photograph.